I know everybody's over it. I know that it's like a faux pas to continue bringing it up at this point. But listen, COVID is still very real. It's still harming people. It's still permanently disabling people. It's still giving people brain damage. It's still killing people, okay? It's still a thing. And I apologize for being the bummer who's bringing this to you. But the place that we're at with this is absolutely crazy now. Not only have masks stopped being normalized, which they absolutely should still be normalized. We should still be masking everywhere, including outside, frankly, because it is super contagious still. And it, like, frankly, if, like, unless you want to become dependent on other people around you for various things that you need help with in your life now, like, you don't want to catch COVID over and over again. TBH, like, take it from a disabled person who got boxed out of the traditional labor market and now has no choice but to work from home, and it's great, and I love it, and thank you so much for supporting the show, but I didn't plan on doing this. I was trying to work a regular job full-time like a normal person, but I can't, and then so I got gradually boxed out because I'm not able to perform, right? So if you don't want that to happen to you, you don't want to catch COVID a bunch of times. And so now it's not only like not normal to wear masks and people like look at you weird, and there's social pressure to stop masking, and there's social pressure to engage in social events that are going to be potentially risky, indoor social events. I know a bunch of people who are like just going to concerts now, and like, thankfully haven't had symptomatic COVID cases that I know about so far with a couple people that I know, but it's like, you were lucky. That doesn't mean that it's okay. It means that you were lucky that you didn't have a case, or that you, like, at least you weren't aware. So this fucking sucks. And there was some talk going on back in, like, a couple months ago in New York City, I think, where the mayor of New York City was saying, oh, people are only wearing masks to come into buildings and steal, like to come into these businesses and steal. So maybe we need to like maybe start cracking down on masking inside retail stores. Like, okay, dickweed, that's not cool. And now we've actually advanced to a different stage. So now we're at a point where, so apparently businesses such as In-N-Out Burger are banning staff from wearing masks unless they can provide a medical note. So not only is it not recommended or like socially unacceptable now amongst the masses, there is an explicit guidance at In-N-Out Burger against wearing a mask if you work for them. Unless you have a valid medical note exempting you from this requirement, associates who wear masks for medical reasons must wear a company-provided N95 mask, which I guess is great. Like, N95s are good. So, but you have to have a medical note, and like, quote unquote, without disclosing the medical diagnosis or confidential medical information, the medical note should clearly state the reason for the exemption and include the estimated duration if applicable. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, how am I going to disclose? How am I going to tell you the reason why I'm wearing a mask without disclosing the medical reason for why I'm wearing the mask? This is so stupid. Yeah, they should be glad they're wearing masks. Are you really? You miss the germs with your fries? People breathe and they spit and they talk and they spit. And like, so yeah, we're just all accustomed to getting spat on, all of our food getting spat on. N95s are uncomfortable. They want people to be uncomfortable. Okay, I don't really care if N95s are uncomfortable. Like, they are that's the approved mask that you should be wearing. N99s if you can, or I keep seeing these like flow masks or whatever, but like, you should be wearing a mask that has a tight seal. And like, the N95s are kind of uncomfortable to me, at least the ones that I got, because the ones that I got are like a little bit short right in the nose area, so they like smush my nose down a little bit. But N95 is what you should be wearing. I wear one outside when I'm going for a walk because it also helps me with my allergies. You need to have a fit test for an N95 or it won't work properly. Bob's Guns, shut the fuck up. That only applies to like situations where you're like in an OSHA environment trying to like avoid particular vapors and like workplace hazards. You don't need like a fit tested mask. If you have an N95, as long as you feel reasonably confident that it's fitting well, my point is you want to wear an N95 instead of wearing a surgical mask. Even a poorly fitting N95 is better than a surgical mask, right? So anyway, I don't need to harp on this. Y'all should understand how fucking airborne aerosols work. Like, if you've ever seen someone vaping, you ever see someone vape and then they like breathe out a big cloud of vape and it like hangs in the air? Or maybe it's breezy and it gets carried away. Or maybe it's like the vape smoke is like heavy and it drifts down to the ground after a little while. Like, if you just imagine that every person around you is breathing out a big cloud of vape juice, then you should have an accurate idea for like, okay, well, right now I'm walking through someone's miasma of vape cloud, probably directly breathing in anything they just breathed out. So like, maybe just keep aware of those things. You know what I mean? And like, then imagine if you're in a crowded place, then everybody's got vape cloud and like you wouldn't be able to breathe without breathing in secondhand vape. Anyway, holy crap, I can admit I'm not the best with COVID stuff these days, but banning masks is absolutely psychotic. It's so crazy. Like, why would you not want them to be doing that? This person says, let your most vulnerable employees decide for themselves. Let them be protected against a virus where most probably can't afford to get long COVID. Fuck the customer and your company. Fuck every single customer that has asked, oh, why are you still masking? Or has asked a manager to request your waiter to unmask. I hope they fucking go to hell or wherever they need to go. That in and out policy is what fascism looks like. We are about to enter a fascist era. This is like, start at least by boycotting restaurants like this, demanding employers to pay sick leave. Yeah, demand employers to pay sick leave and stop putting in these fucking unbelievable policies. There's been so much ridiculous COVID news recently. There was also a recent issue where a man got COVID at work and he brought it home to his wife and his wife got really ill and he tried to sue. And in California, they said, well, not the worker. Oh my God. It doesn't matter that the worker got sick or that the wife got sick because the company is not liable for COVID infections, even if there is like stuff that they clearly could have done to mitigate the COVID infections, right? Is there a different thing that you recommend in and out as an occupational setting and you should really be doing fit tests there? The perfect is the enemy of the good, Bobs. If they're providing N95s and like at least providing some basic education about how to check if yours personally fits well, like that's good. We don't want to like put the bar so high that people aren't willing to do the stuff. They're like, oh my God, it's not even good enough that I'm wearing the mask. You have to like, it has to be like this particular exact way. Like, I'm just saying you have to wear a mask if you work for the post office. Really? Do you actually? I don't know if I saw I've been to the post office recently. Maybe it's the like small town post office guy doesn't really feel the need to wear a mask. That might be the case. I saw a post recently. Yeah, I forgot to bookmark it earlier, but I saw a post recently that was like a public place that had one of those little camera things. And there was a sign that said, take off your mask so that we can do facial recognition. And it was a thing that was like, yeah, this place is going to start doing facial recognition for like anytime you walk into a store. Like, what crazy fascism is this? Like, what insane bullshit is this? Like, no wonder they don't want you wearing a mask. They want to be able to track people. They want to be able to see who you are and where you're going. So if nothing else, I feel like the fact that the government wants to know who you are and where you're going and wants to be able to track you and see what you are doing unmasked, like, means that you should probably try to wear one. Oh my gosh, not having a mask mandate has proven unhelpful for things like jury duty. Since it's optional, people who mask are seen as not honest on a jury. Yo, does that mean that masking will get me out of jury duty if I ever get called for jury duty? That would be awesome. That would be amazing. Anyway, this is a huge bummer, and I'm really pissed off about it because I'm disabled and I don't want to be more disabled, and I kind of wish that everybody would get on board with minimizing COVID spread, but I'm just going to continue staying inside, and that's going to be how I live my life from now on, I guess. So thanks to everyone else who wants to go back to normal for the fact that people who actually understand the risk and who understand that it is an unnecessary and unacceptable risk, just don't get to like live life until enough of y'all become disabled that y'all stop leaving your houses to keep spreading it around. Most of the time, pandemics end after all the people who are going to die by exposure to the bug have died. This one will end not only when the people who are sensitive to it have died, but also when enough people who don't care about spreading it have spread it around and gotten disabled because of their multiple infections, and then they stop spreading it because they can't leave the house anymore. So I'm expecting it to take about twice as long. Normally it's 5 years for a pandemic. I'm guessing that this one is going to be about 10 years, and then I'll be able to go to concerts again. Yay! Yeah, having the excuse of being disabled with a hip injury, at least you don't have to have conversations with people about like, hey, y'all won't be safe with COVID or whatever. Yeah, Lux, a bunch of right-wingers who think the pandemic is fake said that it was silly to wear a mask. Boop, 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 boop.
Hello, it's July. Thank you to my patrons, especially Tiago Nascimento, Mersh Rolvag, Amanda B., Michelle Frattaroli, Danielle McDonald, Sarah A., Spooky Heather Sylvia, Athiet, Robin Olson, Michelle Winter, Wellington Marcus, Jamie Jam, Past Null Infinity, Desi Quiche, Nova, Suzanne Maynard, Mr. Atheist, Elizabeth Bartell, Sojo, and Kevin Young.